It was early morning on the human colony world. The sky was still gray, and the first light of the sun was only touching the tops of the trees. The air was cool and soft, carrying the smell of wet grass and strange flowers that only grew on this alien planet. A boy named Aaron stepped outside his family's small home. He was the son of a farmer, and every morning he liked to explore before his parents woke up. The settlement was quiet. No machines yet, no voices, only the soft rustle of leaves. But this morning was not like the others, because something moved near the edge of the forest. Aaron froze, his heart beating fast. He thought it might be a normal animal, one of the small four-legged creatures the farmers often chased away. But when his eyes adjusted, he realized it was different. It was taller than a dog, glowing faintly. From lines across its skin, the color shifted from blue to silver, like liquid light flowing under its fur. Its eyes were large and golden, and when it looked at Aaron, he felt something strange, like it knew him, like it wanted him to follow. Aaron should have run back inside. He knew his parents would scold him if they found out. No one trusted the wild animals here. Sometimes they were harmless, but sometimes they were deadly. Yet his curiosity was stronger than his fear. The creature turned its head slowly, then walked toward the forest, not too fast, but with purpose. Then it stopped and looked back at Aaron, waiting. Aaron whispered to himself, "It wants me to come," his voice shaking. But inside he felt a pull, as if an invisible thread was tied between them. He stepped off the path, moving carefully. Every sound of grass beneath his feet seemed too loud in the silence. The animal tilted its head, almost as if it was pleased, and continued walking, deeper. And deeper it went, past the familiar trees into a part of the forest Aaron had never seen. Branches twisted into shapes like long fingers, and glowing spores floated in the air. He kept following, his small hands brushing the strange leaves. The forest was alive in ways he had never noticed before. Faint hums came from the ground, like the roots were singing. Insects with crystal wings darted past him, leaving trails of light. Aaron's eyes widened, but still he did not stop. The alien animal never let him fall too far behind. Whenever Aaron slowed, it paused, waiting, always keeping its golden eyes on him. At one moment, the creature leapt across a stream. The water was clear, but glowing faintly green. Aaron hesitated, but then jumped too, landing on the wet rocks, his heart pounding with excitement. "Where are you taking me?" Aaron whispered. Though he knew the animal could not answer, yet somehow he felt it understood. The path grew darker as trees closed overhead, blocking the weak sun. Only the glow of the spores and the silver lines on the animal's skin lit the way. Aaron shivered. He knew if he turned back now, he could still return home, but something told him that if he went forward, his life would never be the same. The animal stopped suddenly, its ears rising. The forest went silent. No insects, no sound of wind, only silence. Aaron held his breath. Then slowly, the creature turned and stared directly at him, its golden eyes bright like fire. For a moment, Aaron felt fear, real fear, his legs almost shaking. He wondered if it would attack, but instead, the creature lowered its head, almost bowing. Then it turned again and continued forward. Aaron followed, but his mind was racing. Why was this animal different? Why did it look like no creature he had ever seen? Why did it seem to know him? As they moved further, the forest began to change. The ground sloped downward into mist. Strange stone pillars rose from the earth. Half covered in vines, they looked too perfect to be natural, as if someone or something had built them long ago. Aaron touched one of the stones. It was warm, not like normal rock, and it vibrated softly under his hand. He quickly pulled back, looking at the animal, the creature. Watched him, waiting, its golden eyes shining in the fog. The boy felt a mix of fear and excitement. He wanted to run, but he also wanted to know. His breath came fast, his chest tight, but his feet moved forward without his command. Behind him, the path was already lost in shadows. Ahead, only the animal and the glowing mist. Aaron whispered again. "What are you?" His voice almost a prayer. The animal lifted its head, and for a second, Aaron thought he saw something else in its eyes. Not just animal thought, but intelligence. A secret. A message too big for him to understand yet. The sound of the forest changed again. This time it was not silence. It was a deep, low hum, almost like a machine buried under the ground. The stones glowed faintly, and the mist grew thicker. Aaron's heart beat fast, his skin cold. He wanted to call for help, but he could not. His voice was gone. His mind was locked between wonder and terror. Still, he followed, step by step, until the forest behind him felt like another world. The life he knew seemed already far away. And in that moment, the boy realized one thing. This was not just an animal. It was a guide. And whatever he was about to find would change everything. Rin's steps grew slower as he followed the strange glowing animal. The forest was no longer the safe place he once knew. The air felt heavier, as if something hidden was watching from the shadows. Every few steps the boy glanced back, but the path home had already vanished behind twisting trees and thick mist. He felt a chill in his chest, but the golden-eyed creature never stopped moving, its body glowing faintly in the dim light, guiding him deeper. The trees here were taller and older, their bark covered with symbols that looked almost carved, yet they pulsed with faint light. Aaron reached out and touched one. It felt warm, almost alive, as if the tree itself had a heartbeat. He pulled his hand back quickly, his skin tingling. The animal stopped ahead and tilted its head. Waiting, Aaron hurried closer, his small boots crunching over strange stones that glittered like glass. He whispered under his breath, "This is not normal forest," his voice barely louder than a breath. As they went further, Aaron noticed the air began to hum, low and steady, like a giant sleeping machine under the ground. The sound grew louder the deeper he walked, and his heart matched its rhythm. Thump, thump, thump. Suddenly, the creature darted to the left, slipping between two dark trees. Aaron almost lost sight of it. He ran after it, his lungs burning, his breath fast. Then he saw it again, waiting. Ahead, golden eyes glowing in the fog, but something else caught his eye. Movement in the corner of his vision. Aaron froze, his throat tight, between the roots of an enormous tree. He thought he saw another shape, thin and crawling, its body sliding back into the darkness before he could fully see it. The boy shivered, his skin cold. The alien animal made a soft sound, a low humming growl, almost like a warning. Then it moved forward again, forcing Aaron to follow. The deeper he went, the more unreal everything became. Giant mushrooms glowed with pale blue light. Insects with crystal wings hovered in the air, leaving trails of sparks behind them. Water dripped from black vines, but when the drops hit the ground, they glowed like fireflies. Aaron wanted to stop and stare, but the animal never let him rest. It pushed forward, always glancing back to make sure he followed. Then the forest grew silent. No insects, no hum, only silence. Aaron's ears rang in the emptiness. He felt his chest grow tight. The animal froze too, its ears rising. From the shadows, a low sound came, like stone grinding against stone. Aaron's legs trembled. He tried to step back, but the creature gave a sharp growl, almost commanding him to stay still. The mist parted slowly, and Aaron saw shapes moving between the trees. Tall stone pillars, cracked and broken, rising from the earth. But these were not natural. They were built by something intelligent. Each pillar was covered in strange markings, glowing faintly, and the hum returned, stronger now, pulsing through the air. Aaron's eyes widened, his fear mixing with wonder. He whispered, "Who made this place?" his voice shaking. The alien animal walked to the center of the stone circle. its glowing body lighting the broken ground. Aaron followed, his steps weak but unwilling to turn back. Suddenly, a sharp sound cut through the air. A high-pitched screech. It came from above. Aaron looked up and saw black shapes flying high between the treetops, their wings long and thin like blades. They circled once, then disappeared into the mist. The boy's heart pounded, his hands shaking. The alien animal stood tall, not afraid, its golden eyes fierce, as if it had expected this. Then the ground trembled just for a second, but enough to make Aaron stumble. The glowing stones flickered brighter, and the hum grew like a roar under his feet. Aaron whispered, "What is happening here?" His voice almost breaking. The creature turned, locking its golden gaze on him. For the first time it made a sound, not an animal sound, but something deeper, almost like words. Though Aaron could not understand them, he felt his skin prickle, his chest tight. He knew in that moment this animal was not just leading him. It was guiding him to something ancient, something hidden beneath this world. Aaron followed as the creature moved toward a broken archway, half buried under vines. The stones glowed brighter the closer they came. Symbols pulsed with light, and the hum turned into a steady rhythm, like a giant heartbeat from the ground itself. Inside the archway, the mist grew thicker. Shapes moved at the edge of vision, shadows that looked alive. Aaron rubbed his eyes, but they were still there, tall and thin, watching. "Always watching," he whispered. "Are they real or just the mist?" But the animal did not answer. It walked with calm steps, as if it knew the path. Aaron's legs were heavy, fear and wonder battling inside him. Every instinct told him to run back, but another voice whispered in his mind, a voice that was not his own, a voice that said, "Keep walking." His breath shook, his chest hurt, but he obeyed. The deeper he went, the colder the air became. The mist clung to his skin like ice, his teeth almost chattering. Yet the glowing animal walked with ease, always guiding. Suddenly, a faint light appeared ahead, not blue, not silver, but golden. It shone through the mist, soft but steady. Aaron's eyes widened, his heart raced. The animal stopped and looked back at him, its golden eyes meeting his. Then it turned again and walked toward the light. Aaron followed, his hands trembling, his breath unsteady. He whispered, "What will I find?" His voice breaking with fear and hope. The hum grew louder, the mist swirled. The golden light grew brighter, and Aaron felt deep in his heart that once he crossed this point, there would be no turning back. The golden light ahead shimmered like a secret door in the mist. Aaron's heart pounded as he stepped closer. Every part of his body told him to stop, yet his feet moved on their own, drawn by something greater than fear. The glowing animal walked with calm steps, its silver patterns pulsing like a heartbeat. Aaron's eyes stayed fixed on it, trusting it without reason. He whispered under his breath, "Where are you taking me?" But the creature only turned its head slightly, as if to say, "You will see." The mist parted slowly, and at last the boy stood before a giant stone wall, half buried in roots and vines, yet alive with faint golden symbols that moved across its surface like liquid fire. Aaron gasped, his small hands trembling. The wall was not natural. It was built, ancient, and alien, taller than the tallest tree, stretching far into the shadows. The creature stepped forward and pressed its glowing body against the wall. At once, the symbols pulsed brighter, spreading outward like ripples in water. The hum that had followed Aaron all this way turned into a deep, steady vibration, the ground itself shaking as if it were waking from a long sleep. A crack appeared in the wall, lines of golden light forming a doorway, slowly opening with the sound of stone grinding against stone. Aaron's breath caught, his chest tight. He felt the urge to run, but he could not move, his legs frozen. The creature turned back to him, its golden eyes fierce yet calm, inviting. Him to enter. He whispered, I should not be here. But his feet betrayed him, taking one step forward, then another, until he stood at the entrance, the mist swirling around his ankles. Inside, the air was colder, heavier, carrying a strange metallic taste. The walls glowed faintly, covered in shifting symbols that seemed alive, twisting into shapes he could almost understand, but not fully. His footsteps echoed in the chamber, each sound bouncing back like whispers. Aaron's eyes darted everywhere. The place was vast, a long hallway stretching deep underground, supported by pillars shaped like enormous claws. The glowing animal walked steadily ahead, its silver patterns lighting the way. But shadows moved along the walls, flickering shapes that looked like tall figures. Aaron blinked, trying to see clearly. But each time the shadows vanished when he looked straight at them, fear grew inside him. But so did curiosity. His chest rose and fell quickly. He whispered, This is not just a cave. This is something else. His words trembling. Deeper they went, past broken carvings, past shattered fragments of black stone that hummed faintly when he stepped near them. Some looked like pieces of machines, but too strange to be human. The hum grew louder the deeper they walked. No longer just a sound, it was a feeling, pressing against his skin, vibrating in his bones. Suddenly, the creature stopped in front of a great chamber. Aaron peeked inside and froze, his mouth open in shock. The chamber was enormous, wide and tall, lit by golden crystals that floated in the air without support. Strange machines sat in silence, half buried in dust, but still glowing faintly with energy. In the center stood a massive stone altar, its surface glowing with shifting patterns, like a map or a code. Aaron stepped closer, his fear mixing with awe. As he touched the edge of the altar, the symbols lit up instantly, spreading across the surface like fire. The hum roared louder, filling the chamber with energy. Aaron gasped, stumbling back, his hands shaking, but the glowing animal stood calmly by his side, watching, as if this was always meant to happen. Suddenly, the air shimmered, and from this altar a figure appeared, not solid, but a golden hologram, tall, with long arms and eyes of light. It spoke in a language Aaron could not understand, yet deep inside he felt the meaning. The voice was not just sound, it was inside his head, whispering, Chosen. You are chosen. Aaron's knees trembled, his breath weak. He whispered back, Chosen for what? But the figure only repeated the same words, its glowing eyes locked on him. The chamber shook, dust falling from the ceiling. The machines hummed louder. Something was waking, something old and powerful. The boy felt terror grip him, yet also wonder. He knew now that the animal was not just guiding him, it was bringing him here, to this place, to this secret. Then he heard it, a new sound, not the hum, not the voice, but a sharp clicking echoing from the far end of the chamber. He turned and saw movement, tall, thin shapes stepping out of the shadows, their bodies black and sharp like blades, their eyes glowing red. Aaron froze, his heart stopping. The glowing animal growled, its silver body brightening like fire, standing between him and the creatures. The hologram flickered, its golden light dimming. The red-eyed figures stepped closer, their claws scraping the stone floor, their breath hissing like steam. Aaron backed away, his legs weak, his chest burning. He whispered, No, no, no. His voice breaking, the animal snarled louder. The symbols on the altar blazed brighter, filling the room with golden fire. The shadows hissed and stepped back, but did not disappear. The hologram whispered once more, Chosen, and vanished, leaving Aaron trembling in the golden light. The boy now understood one thing. This was no simple adventure. He had crossed into a place where secrets older than humanity itself slept, and something dangerous was now awake. The glowing animal pushed against him gently, guiding him back. its golden eyes telling him one message without words: run. But Aaron knew deep inside there was no running away from this. His life had already changed, and the true danger had only just begun. The chamber still shook with the fading hum. Golden light pulsed across the altar. Yet the red-eyed shadows remained at the edge, waiting, silent, their breath echoing like broken machines. Aaron's chest rose and fell fast. His small hands curled into fists, though he felt powerless. His wide eyes darted between the glowing altar and the creatures closing in. The animal beside him growled low, silver light racing across its skin like fire, its golden eyes never blinking. Aaron felt the creature's body tremble with power, but also with strain, as if fighting against a force much greater than itself. The altar flickered again, symbols rushing like rivers of light, forming new shapes across the stone. Aaron squinted, his heart pounding. Some of the symbols looked like maps, others like stars. But they were shifting too fast to hold. Then a strange pulse shot through the floor. Aaron staggered back, his boots sliding on the glowing stone, and from the altar, another image rose, this one larger, brighter. It was a city, but not human. Towers of black stone and golden crystal reaching into the sky, bridges of light crossing rivers of silver, machines flying overhead, silent and smooth. Aaron's mouth opened in awe, his voice a whisper. This is real. This was here. But before he could take another breath, a vision twisted, showing the same city burning, towers collapsing into fire, black ships raining down from the skies, shadows with red eyes marching through the flames. Aaron stumbled back, his heart aching with fear. They destroyed it, he whispered, his voice trembling. The animal snarled. Louder, its body glowing brighter, but the red-eyed creatures hissed in return, stepping closer into the golden light, their sharp claws scratching against the stone. The altar's voice filled the chamber again, not words this time, but a rush of sound like waves, deep and endless. Inside Aaron's head the meaning appeared. A whisper. Guardians failed, chosen must rise. Aaron clutched his chest. His breath short, he whispered, chosen again, the word making his stomach twist. The vision of the burning city faded, replaced by a single glowing star, pulsing softly, then splitting into two lights, one gold, one red. The altar flickered violently, the hum grew wild, and cracks appeared in the walls, vines snapping free, dust falling from the ceiling like rain. The animal pushed Aaron back, its glowing body pressing against his legs, forcing him away from the altar. The message clear: you must leave now. But the boy's eyes were locked on the red-eyed creatures. They moved closer, slow and careful, but their hunger was clear. Aaron whispered, why don't they attack? His voice shaking. Then he realized they were waiting for the altar's light to fade, waiting for the ancient protection to die. The golden glow dimmed for a moment, and one of the creatures leapt forward, faster than Aaron's eyes could follow, its claws raised high. The animal roared, throwing itself between the boy and the shadow. Silver light exploded from its body. The impact shook the air. The creature hissed, its black body burning where the light touched. It shrieked and fell back, smoke rising from its skin. Aaron cried out, his voice echoing, his chest tight with terror. The other creatures hissed louder, circling, but the animal's light still held them back. The altar flared one last time, its golden voice whispering into Aaron's mind. Remember, seek. The heart, only the heart can awaken. Then the light collapsed, the symbols fading into darkness, the golden crystals above dimming. The chamber was swallowed in shadows. Only the glow of the animal's silver body lighting the air. Aaron's heart hammered, his voice breaking. Heart, what heart? But there was no answer, only silence. The creatures screeched in triumph, rushing forward again, claws flashing, eyes burning. The animal pushed Aaron toward the broken archway, its growl deep, commanding. Aaron stumbled, fear. Choking him, yet his legs obeyed, he ran toward the dark corridor. Hearing the hiss of claws scraping stone right behind him, the glowing beast leapt back, slamming into the shadows, its light exploding like a shield. Buying the boy seconds, Aaron's breath tore through his lungs, his boots slamming against the cold floor. He darted through the corridor, his eyes wide, his mind screaming. Behind him, the roar of battle filled the air, growls, screeches, the sound of stone cracking. But he dared not look back. The corridor twisted, the symbols on the walls glowing faintly as if guiding him. He stumbled over broken stones, scraping his knees. But he forced himself up, running faster. Then the hum returned, faint but steady. Rising from deep below, it made the walls vibrate, the golden patterns flickering once more. Aaron's eyes darted everywhere, fear gripping him, but also something else. A feeling deep in his chest, a pull, the same pull that led him here in the first place. He whispered through his ragged breath, the heart, the words. Burning in his mind, the corridor opened suddenly into another chamber. Smaller, round, with a single black pedestal in the center, glowing faintly with golden cracks. Aaron stumbled to a halt, his chest heaving, his eyes locked on the pedestal. The animal's growls still echoed faintly behind him, the hiss of the kungi. Red-eyed creatures close, the chamber shaking with battle. Aaron's small hands trembled as he reached forward, his voice a broken whisper. Is this it? Is this the heart? The pedestal pulsed once, golden light spreading through the cracks. Like fire, the shadows screeched from the corridor, their red glow spilling into the chamber. The boy's breath caught, his heart slamming against his ribs. The pedestal pulsed again. Brighter, the hum louder, the symbols on the walls flickering alive. Arene's hand hovered just inches above the glowing cracks, sweat dripping down his forehead. He knew, deep inside, this was the choice. If he touched it, something would change, something he could never undo. The sound of claws striking stone thundered behind him, the red glow flooding closer. Aaron closed his eyes, his voice a whisper. I am not ready. Yet his hand moved, drawn by something. Beyond fear, and as his fingers brushed the surface, the world exploded in golden light. The golden blast filled the chamber like a sunrise, trapped inside stone. For a heartbeat, Aaron felt weightless. The world turned to light. The air turned to sound. His fear and pain flew away like dust in wind. When the light thinned, he found himself standing where the pedestal had been. But the pedestal was gone. In its place stood a column of slow-moving gold, like thick liquid climbing the air. It wrapped around his hand where he had touched, warm and alive. The glow sank into his skin. A soft ring formed on his palm, a simple spiral mark. It pulsed once, twice, then it beat in time with his own heart. The humming under the floor grew clear. Not just noise now, it was a pattern. A voice without words. Aaron could feel it inside his bones. The hidden place was awake. Behind him, the corridor screamed with red light as the dark creatures rushed in. Their claws struck the stone and threw sparks. Their eyes burned like hot metal. The glowing animal leapt into the doorway, its body brighter than before. Silver lines raced over its skin like rivers of lightning. It lowered its head and roared, a deep sound that shook dust from the ceiling. The front row of shadows flinched and slowed. Aaron looked at his palm. The spiral ring flashed, and the symbols on the walls flashed with it. His breath caught. Something in him understood a tiny piece of the moving signs. Not the words, but the feeling. A sense of open, a sense of door, a sense of path. He raised his hand without thinking. The ring shone, and a line of gold cut across the far wall. A seam appeared. Stone folded back with a soft sigh. A narrow passage revealed itself, dark at first, then lit by a slow wave of crystal lamps. The animal glanced at him, golden eyes bright, as if saying, "Finally, now move." Irene nodded, his legs still shaking. He ran into the new passage. The animal moved backward, guarding the mouth of the corridor, light blazing from its skin in sharp bursts that made the shadows hiss and pull away. The first creature tried to jump over it. The animal twisted and slammed its shoulder up. Light struck like a hammer. The black body hit the wall and cracked like glass. A scream ripped the air. The others slowed. Circling like wolves, Aaron reached the first bend and looked back. The animal dashed after him, then spun and faced the enemy again, moving step by step while keeping the boy ahead. The new passage was not rough stone. It was clean and smooth. The floor felt like a soft drum under his feet. The spiral mark in his palm kept pulsing, and each pulse made the lights brighten and the hum steady. He whispered, "You are the heart, or you work with the heart," his voice barely a breath. He was speaking to the mark, to the place, to the tiny piece of power now inside him. The passage opened into a round hall with a low dome. In the center stood a ring like a doorway laid flat. A circle of black metal with golden veins. 4 small pillars stood around it like guards. Each one held a floating stone shaped like a tear. Aaron stopped at the edge of the circle. The home pointed down, not forward. The path was below, hidden under the ring. He felt it even before a symbol rose from the metal and hovered like a coin of light. The hovering symbol touched his spiral mark. His palm burned with cold fire. The ring answered, plates slid aside, and a clear shaft opened. A wind rose from fins, the deep like the breath of a sleeping giant. Aaron swallowed hard. He looked at the animal. The creature had reached the hall. Its side was smoking where a claw had cut the light, but its eyes were steady and bright. It stood beside the boy and looked down into the shaft, then back toward the corridor where the red glow grew again. From the corridor came a new sound, a long horn, low and cruel. The shadows were calling more, or calling something bigger. The stone trembled as if heavy feet were waking. Aaron's thoughts raced. The altar had said, "Remember, seek the heart. Only the heart can awaken." Now the mark beat like a small sun in his hand. He felt the truth like a quiet voice. The heart was below. The first door was only the caller. The real source slept deeper. He looked into the shaft. He could not see the bottom. Only steps along the wall, like a slow spiral staircase, hugging the round space. He took one breath, his chest tight, then he put his foot on the first step. The animal pressed close to him, shoulder to leg. A promise without words. They began to descend. The air grew colder as they went down, yet the cold was clean, like mountain snow. The lights followed them, waking one by one, forming a thin river along the steps. The hum thickened into a chord, deep and calm. The mark in his palm matched it, beat for beat. Halfway down, the walls changed. Carvings rose out of the smooth stone. Scenes in long bands, simple and clear. Aaron slowed and stared. In the first band, he saw the golden-eyed creatures, not the red-eyed ones, but tall and bright, standing with animals like his guide, their hands on the animals' heads, light passing between them like threads. Behind them stood humans, small and unsure, yet welcome. In the second band, he saw the sky fill with black ships, and the red-eyed shadows fell like night over the bright ones. The animals stood and fought, their bodies turning to shields of light. The bright ones lifted small human children and carried them to hidden halls, the same kind of halls as this one. In the third band, he saw a single child touch a ring, a small hand with a spiral mark. Light rose, doors opened. The child grew taller in the carvings, walked with the animals, and woke sleeping towers one by one. Aaron's breath shook, his eyes stung. He whispered, "This is the same. This is me, or someone like me." The animal leaned closer, its side pressed to his knee, a low sound in its chest like comfort. The horn above wailed again. The stairs shook. Dust fell like gray rain. Aaron hurried. The carvings slid past. and the shaft widened into a vast round chamber at last. The heart of the place was not a machine like human machines. It was a living shape made of stone and light, a great sphere, half buried in the floor and half rising into the dome. Gentle waves of gold moved across it like breath. Slow and sure, Aaron stepped toward it with fear and wonder. His hand rose without asking. The spiral mark shone bright. The waves on the sphere answered. A path of light formed across its skin like a bridge. He walked onto the bridge. The animal stayed at the base and watched, tail low, ears high, ready to spring if danger came from above. On the sphere, small points of light opened like stars. They joined into thin lines. A map grew under his feet, not of the forest, not of the valley, but of the whole land, then the whole planet, then something more, a web in the sky, nodes like hearts, lines like roads of light between them. A soft voice rose around him. Not a person, not the altar, but the heart itself. It spoke with feelings more than words, yet simple meanings formed in his head. 2 keys, one living, one chosen. The living key guards, the chosen key awakens. Together they heal and call. Aaron knew at once. The animal was the living key. He was the chosen key. The heart could wake only when the two stood together. The map shifted. One node pulsed bright. It lay far beyond the forest, past the farms, past the hills. Near the old black ridge his father warned him about, the pulsing node flashed a warning. Color, not red like the shadows, not gold like the heart, but a sick gray, fading, failing. The voice pressed a new feeling into him. Urgency. If that node failed, the web would break, and the red-eyed shadows would spread like rot. A heavy crash shook the chamber. A crack ran across the dome. The horn above boomed closer. The red light fell down the shaft in a slow river. The shadows were coming. The heart brightened. A ring of light rose from the floor around the animal. The creature stood inside the ring. Its wounds closed like frost melting. New silver lines formed over its side, stronger, sharper. The living key had been renewed. Aaron reached toward the sphere one last time. The spiral mark burned and then cooled. A thin band of warm metal formed around his wrist. It looked like a simple bracelet, but tiny symbols moved along it like fish in a stream. He felt a path inside it, a path to the pulsing node. The voice faded, leaving a single clear thought. Go, carry the heart's spark, wake what sleeps. Do not let the gray spread. The red light poured into the chamber as the first shadow dropped from the shaft lip. Its body hit the floor and shattered into a cloud, then pulled itself together, slow but sure. More dropped behind it. The horn became a roar. The animal stepped in front of Aaron, its golden eyes bright as fire. It looked at the shaft, then at the far wall where no door could be. Seen. Aaron held up his wrist. The bracelet warmed. A scene drew itself across the stone like ink. A door unfolded outward with a hiss. Cold night air rushed in. Beyond lay a narrow tunnel opening to the outside cliff. A ledge ran along the rock, thin as a blade. Wind tore at it below. The forest rolled like dark ocean. Far away thunder walked along the ridge. The first shadow lunged. The animal struck. Light cracked across the floor. The chamber rang like a bell. Aaron ran through the door and onto the ledge. Stones slipped under his boots. The wind tried to pull him away. He pressed a hand to the wall and moved sideways, step by step. The animal leapt back through the door, then turned and backed out after him. Still facing the enemy, holding the line with light. Behind them the heart sent one last push of power. The door frame blazed. The floor between the shadows and the door split open. A thin trench of light formed like a river of fire, the nearest. Shadows drew back hissing, but they would find a way soon. Aaron inched along the ledge. The cliff bowed outward. The path vanished ahead into a broken gap. Empty air yawning between this ledge and the next one several steps away. The wind roared. Up the wall like a flood. He looked at the gap, then at the animal. His voice was a thin thread. "We cannot cross." The animal looked down, then up, then at Aaron's wrist. The bracelet heated. Small hooks unfolded from its edge like bright thorns. A soft wire of light shot out and latched to an iron root jutting from the next ledge. Wire hardened, humming like a string. Aaron met the creature's eyes. Fear and wild hope fought in his chest. The wind screamed. Behind them the horn roared. The red glow swelled. The trench of light began to dim. He took one step back, gripped the line with both hands, and whispered, "We jump together." The animal crouched, muscles tight, eyes blazing. The bracelet sang in his palm. The ledge shook. The door behind them began to close as the power fell. The first shadow reached the lip and spread its claws. Aaron and the living key leapt into the empty air. The line of light snapped tight and sang like thunder, and the dark below opened its mouth to swallow them. "You said." The line of light snapped and held. Aaron's small body swung in the open air. The world around him a storm of wind and shadow. The cliff face tore past his eyes as he spun. His hands burned on the glowing cord. His legs kicked at empty sky. The animal swung with him, silver light sparking from its skin. Its claws dug into the line itself. Gripping with impossible strength, together they dangled over the endless forest below. The trees looked like black. Waves crashing against the earth. Aaron gasped, the wind ripping his breath away. His wrist ached as the bracelet hummed. The hooks of light creaked under their combined weight. Above them, the broken ledge cracked and fell away. Huge stones tumbled into the mist. Red light poured from the chamber like fire spilling from a furnace. Shadows clung to the walls, their long arms reaching, claws slicing the air. One of the shadows leapt, its body stretched like black smoke. It aimed straight for Aaron, its red eyes burning like coals. Aaron screamed, his fingers slipping, but the animal swung upward, its body glowing brighter. It slammed its shoulder into the shadow. The impact burst with silver fire. The creature shrieked, its smoke body tearing apart. Drifting down into the dark forest, the cord snapped tight again. Aaron cried out, his arm wrenched hard. But the bracelet pulsed, warm and steady, holding him, saving him. The far ledge was still several feet away. The gap seemed endless. Aaron's heart pounded, his breath ragged. "We cannot make it," he whispered, tears stinging his eyes. The animal looked at him, golden eyes fierce. It twisted its body mid-swing, kicking hard against the wall. The cord bent wide. The swing grew faster. "Hold," Aaron whispered to himself, his teeth clenched, his body shaking. The second swing carried them closer, wind tearing at their hair and fur, stones breaking loose and falling with them. The third swing slammed them onto the ledge. Aaron crashed hard, his knees scraped, his palms burned, but he was alive. The animal landed beside him, crouched, its light dimming and then flaring again, always watching the cliff. Always guarding, the boy scrambled up, chest heaving, his wrist throbbing where the spiral mark burned under the bracelet. He whispered, "They will follow. They will never stop." His voice was broken with fear, and he was right. Above them more shadows spilled from the broken chamber, crawling down the cliff like spiders, their red eyes flashing, their claws cutting into stone as they descended. The animal growled, the silver lines on its body glowing sharper. It nudged Aaron forward along the ledge. The path was thin, broken, stones crumbling under each step. The wind howled. Aaron pressed himself to the wall, inching forward, but his eyes kept darting upward. The shadows were coming faster, dozens now. Suddenly the cliff shook. A massive claw burst from the stone higher up, not from a shadow, but from something larger, something older. The wall split open with a roar, stone raining down. A giant form unfolded from the cliff itself, its body black like obsidian, its arms too long, its chest glowing with red cracks, its head crowned with jagged horns. Aaron's heart nearly stopped, his whisper lost in the storm. "What is that?" The shadows howled together, their voices rising, as if calling their master. The giant turned its head, its burning eyes fixed on the boy. The ledge shook again, rocks split, the path behind them collapsed. Leaving only one way forward, the animal pushed Aaron hard. Urging him to run, the boy stumbled and forced his legs to move. He ran along the narrow ledge, stones falling away under his boots, the wind slashing his face, his arms outstretched. Against the wall, his lungs screaming, the bracelet glowed again. A seam appeared in the rock ahead. Another door shaping itself, slow, too slow. Aaron cried, "Please open," tears mixing with sweat, his voice lost in the storm. The animal turned and faced the giant. Light bursting from its body in waves, the giant roared, a sound like mountains. Grinding, it reached one claw toward them. The ledge cracked, stones falling into endless night. The door ahead finally opened. Light spilling out, Aaron ran through, stumbling onto a new tunnel. Wider, but darker. The bracelet dimmed, its glow faint. The animal leapt inside, just as the giant's claw struck the cliff. The tunnel shook, rocks falling, the door sealed shut with a thunderous crack, cutting off. The red light, cutting off the roar. Silence fell, broken only by Aaron's sobbing breaths, his chest heaving, his hands scraped raw. The animal pressed against him, warm, steady, its golden eyes calm, telling him without words, "You survived." 4. Now. Aaron slumped against the wall, whispering, "Why me? Why am I chosen?" His voice trembling. The tunnel stretched before them, lined with black stone that shimmered faintly. The hum was quieter here, almost like a heartbeat under a blanket. Steady but far, they walked slowly, Aaron leaning on the animal's side, his legs weak. But every step took them further from the shadows. Yet he knew in his heart the danger had only grown larger. The shadows were many, but the giant was something worse, something ancient, something that remembered the fall of the Golden City. The tunnel bent down, spiraling deeper into the earth. Strange lights glowed in the distance, green and cold. Aaron felt the bracelet warming again. Pulling him forward, the spiral mark in his palm pulsed. He whispered, "The heart showed me the map, the ridge, the failing node. We must reach it. We must wake it." His young voice steady despite his fear. The animal nodded slightly, its golden eyes never leaving his. A silent bond formed deeper now, not of fear, but of trust. Suddenly, the floor trembled. Cracks split the walls, and thin black smoke seeped through. Shadows trying to force their way, even through stone. Aaron's pulse raced. He grabbed the animal's fur, whispering, "They are everywhere." His chest tight. Bracelet burned hot. Symbols raced along its band. The tunnel ahead opened into another chamber, smaller, circular, with a strange pool in the center. The water glowed green and moved like glass. The hum rose louder here. The pool rippled, though no wind touched it. Reflections twisted across its surface, not of Aaron or the animal, but of stars, maps, strange eyes watching. Aaron stepped closer. The bracelet flared. The pool responded, golden lines spreading across the green surface, forming an image. It was the ridge, the failing node, its light weak, the gray sickness spreading outward like cracks in glass. But around it moved shapes, huge and dark, guarding it. Feeding on it, Aaron gasped, his knees weak. They already found it. His whisper cut like a blade. The animal growled, stepping closer to the pool, its silver body reflecting in the green. Both of them glowing side by side, the hum pressed against. Aaron's skull, a voice forming again, not the altar, not the heart, but the system itself. Old and broken. You must reach it. You must wake it before the shadows break it forever. Aaron's hands shook, his tears fell, but he clenched his fists. He looked at the animal, his voice steady now. We will go, we will fight. We will not let them win. The pool flashed once, brighter, then dimmed. The path forward opened in the far wall. A thin door unfolding. The bracelet cooled, but the spiral mark glowed steady. Aaron took a deep breath. The animal at his side, the shadows behind them, the giant waiting above, and the failing node ahead. Every step now would be harder. Every step now would bring them closer to the truth. But deep inside, he knew one thing. The war had already begun. The tunnel grew darker the further they walked. The faint green glow of the pool vanished behind them. Only the bracelet on Aaron's wrist and the silver light of the animal guided their way. The hum was softer here, not steady, but broken. Like a heart skipping beats, the failing node was close, and it was dying. Aaron's chest felt heavy. Every step filled him with dread, but also with something stronger, a quiet fire burning in his small chest. The animal walked close, its golden eyes watching him. The bond between them deeper now. Their lights pulsing in rhythm, the tunnel bent upward. Stone steps cracked and broken, vines of black smoke crawling along the walls. The air grew colder, thick with a sour smell. Aaron covered his nose with his sleeve, whispering, "The sickness is here," his voice trembling. At the top of the stairs, the tunnel opened, and Aaron stepped out into a vast hollow inside the ridge. His eyes widened, his breath caught. The node stood before him, a massive sphere of stone and crystal, half buried in the ground, its surface broken with wide cracks, light leaking weakly like a dying flame. Around it moved dark shapes, larger than the shadows he had seen before. Beasts of black stone and smoke, four-legged, their eyes burning red, their claws tearing at the node's skin, feeding on its failing energy. Aaron's knees buckled, fear crushing him. "How can I fight this?" he whispered, tears filling his eyes. The animal growled, its silver light flaring, but even it seemed smaller here, weaker against so many. The node groaned, the hum stuttered, its light flickering. The ground shook with each pulse, cracks spreading wider across the chamber. Beasts turned their heads, sensing Aaron, their red eyes fixed on him, their growls rising into a single chorus of hunger. Aaron's heart raced, his hands trembling. He looked at his palm. The spiral mark glowed faint but steady. He whispered, "I am chosen. I must be chosen." For this, his voice breaking, the beasts roared, charging as one, claws slashing, their bodies like moving storms of shadow and stone. The animal leapt forward, silver fire exploding from its body. It struck the first beast, light burning through its chest. The creature screamed and crumbled into smoke, but more leapt over it, jaws wide. Aaron raised his wrist. The bracelet flared. Golden hooks of light shot outward, striking the ground, forming a circle around him. The beasts hit the barrier, claws screeching, sparks flying. Aaron staggered, the force shaking him. His knees weak, but the bracelet held. The animal fought like lightning, leaping, biting, its golden eyes blazing. Every strike a burst of silver light, but for every beast it destroyed. Two more rose from the smoke. The node screamed, a crack splitting down its side, golden light spilling like blood. The hum breaking into silence. Aaron cried out, "No, don't. Die." His voice raw, tears on his cheeks. He pressed his glowing palm to the ground. The bracelet burned, the spiral mark seared. The chamber answered. Symbols lit up across the floor, racing toward the node. Aaron gasped, visions flashing in his head. Not dreams, not memories, but truths. He saw the golden city again, whole and bright. He saw the guardians, the living keys, standing with the chosen children, opening nodes one by one, keeping the web alive, keeping the shadows away. He saw the Fall, the red-eyed ones tearing it apart. Giants ripping the sky, children failing, cities burning, hearts broken. And then he saw himself. Small but standing, his palm glowing, his bracelet burning like a star, the animal beside him. Together pushing back the dark. The vision shattered. Aaron screamed. His hands slammed against the earth. The bracelet erupted. A golden beam shot across the chamber and struck the node. The beasts shrieked, turning, their bodies shaking, their red eyes flashing. They lunged at Aaron, dozens now. A sea of shadows. The animal threw itself into them, silver light bursting. Its body struck, claws cutting deep, but it did not stop. Its roar thundered across the chamber. The node answered Aaron's call. The cracks glowed brighter, golden fire rushing through them. The hum returned, louder, stronger. The spiral mark on Aaron's palm burned white. His body lifted from the ground, his eyes wide with fear and wonder. Golden light wrapping around him like wings. The beasts leapt, but the light struck them first, searing through their bodies, tearing them apart into smoke. Aaron screamed again, not in fear, but in power, the golden light pouring from his small body. Flooding the chamber, the node roared like a heartbeat, its cracks sealing, its glow blazing, the web of light stretching out from it, racing through the earth, connecting with distant points. The beasts shrieked, one by one dissolving into dust. Their screams fading, the ground shaking as their bodies vanished. The giant roar from above echoed, distant but furious. The master of the shadows had felt the awakening. Aaron fell to the ground, his chest heaving, his body trembling, the bracelet dimming to a soft glow, the spiral mark on his palm fading to a steady golden ember. The animal limped toward him, its side torn, its silver glow weak, but it's golden. Eyes still bright, it pressed its head against his shoulder. Warm and steady, Aaron wrapped his arms around it, sobbing, whispering, "We did it, we saved it," his voice shaking. The node pulsed, golden light filling the chamber like dawn. "Ah," voice whispered in his mind, calm and endless. "One heart saved, many remain, the web is broken still. But you have awakened the path." Aaron lifted his head, his tears drying on his cheeks. He looked at the animal, at the glowing sphere, his voice soft but certain. "This is only the beginning." The tunnel behind them rumbled, dust falling. The red glow of the shadows fading, but not gone, never gone. Aaron stood, his legs weak but steady, the bracelet warm on his wrist, the spiral burning faint in his palm. The animal at his side, he looked once more at the node, its golden light pulsing, its voice silent now, but its presence strong. He whispered, "I will not stop. I will wake them all." Above, thunder rolled across the ridge, the storm of shadows gathering. The war had only started, but Aaron was no longer just a boy. He was chosen, and the world would never be the same. Aaron stepped closer. The bracelet flared. The pool responded, golden lines spreading across the green surface. Forming an image, it was the ridge, the failing node, its light weak, the gray sickness spreading outward like cracks in glass. But around it moved shapes, huge and dark, guarding it. Feeding on it, Aaron gasped, his knees weak. They already found it. His whisper cut like a blade. The animal growled, stepping closer to the pool, its silver body reflecting in the green, both of them glowing side by side, the hum pressed against. Aaron's skull, a voice forming again, not the altar, not the heart, but the system itself. Old and broken. You must reach it, you must wake it, before the shadows break it forever. Aaron's hands shook, his tears fell, but he clenched his fists. He looked at the animal, his voice steady now. "We will go, we will fight, we will not let them win." The pool flashed once, brighter, then dimmed. The path forward opened in the far wall, a thin door unfolding. The bracelet cooled, but the spiral mark glowed steady. Aaron took a deep breath. the animal at his side, the shadows behind them, the giant waiting above, and the failing node ahead. Every step now would be harder. Every step now would bring them closer to the truth. But deep inside, he knew one thing. War had already begun. The tunnel grew darker the further they walked. The faint green glow of the pool vanished behind them. Only the bracelet on Aaron's wrist and the silver light of the animal guided their way. The hum was softer here, not steady, but broken. Like a heart skipping beats, the failing node was close, and it was dying. Aaron's chest felt heavy. Every step filled him with dread, but also with something stronger, a quiet fire burning in his small chest. The animal walked close, its golden eyes watching him, the bond between them deeper now. Their lights pulsing in rhythm, the tunnel bent upward. Stone steps cracked and broken, vines of black smoke crawling along the walls. The air grew colder, thick with a sour smell. Aaron covered his nose with his sleeve, whispering, "The sickness is here," his voice trembling. At the top of the stairs, the tunnel opened, and Aaron stepped out into a vast hollow inside the ridge. His eyes widened, his breath caught. The node stood before him, a massive sphere of stone and crystal, half buried in the ground, its surface broken with wide cracks, light leaking weakly like a dying flame. Around it moved dark shapes, larger than the shadows he had seen before. Beasts of black stone and smoke, four-legged, their eyes burning red, their claws tearing at the node's skin, feeding on its failing energy. Aaron's knees buckled, fear crushing him. "How can I fight this?" he whispered, tears filling his eyes. The animal growled, its silver light flaring, but even it seemed smaller here, weaker against so many. The node groaned, the hum stuttered, its light flickering. The ground shook with each pulse, cracks spreading wider across the chamber. Beasts turned their heads, sensing Aaron, their red eyes fixed on him, their growls rising into a single chorus of hunger. Aaron's heart raced, his hands trembling. He looked at his palm. The spiral mark glowed faint but steady. He whispered, "I am chosen. I must be chosen." "For this," his voice breaking. The beasts roared, charging as one, claws slashing, their bodies like moving storms of shadow and stone. The animal leapt forward, silver fire exploding from its body. It struck the first beast, light burning through its chest. The creature screamed and crumbled into smoke, but more leapt over it, jaws wide. Aaron raised his wrist, the bracelet flared, golden hooks of light shot outward, striking the ground, forming a circle around him. The beasts hit the barrier, claws screeching, sparks flying. Aaron staggered, the force shaking him. His knees weak, but the bracelet held. The animal fought like lightning, leaping, biting, its golden eyes blazing. Every strike a burst of silver light, but for every beast it destroyed, two more rose from the smoke. The node screamed, a crack splitting down its side, golden light spilling like blood. The hum breaking into silence. Aaron cried out, "No, don't die," his voice raw, tears on his cheeks. He pressed his glowing palm to the ground. The bracelet burned, the spiral mark seared. The chamber answered, symbols lit up across the floor. Racing toward the node, Aaron gasped, visions flashing in his head. Not dreams, not memories, but truths. He saw the golden city again, whole and bright. He saw the guardians, the living keys, standing with the chosen children, opening nodes one by one, keeping the web alive, keeping the shadows away. He saw the fall, the red-eyed ones tearing it apart, giants ripping the sky, children failing, cities burning, hearts broken. And then he saw himself, small but standing, his palm glowing, his bracelet burning like a star, the animal beside him, together pushing back the dark. The vision shattered. Aaron screamed, his hand slammed against the earth. The bracelet erupted, A golden beam shot across the chamber and struck the node. The beasts shrieked, turning, their bodies shaking, their red eyes flashing. They lunged at Aaron, dozens now, a sea of shadows. The animal threw itself into them, silver light bursting. Its body struck, claws cutting deep, but it did not stop. Its roar thundered across the chamber. The node answered Aaron's call. The cracks glowed brighter, golden fire rushing through them. The hum returned, louder, stronger. The spiral mark on Aaron's palm burned white. His body lifted from the ground, his eyes wide with fear and wonder. Golden light wrapping around him like wings. The beasts leapt, but the light struck them first, searing through their bodies, tearing them apart into smoke. Aaron screamed again, not in fear, but in power, the golden light pouring from his small body. Flooding the chamber, the node roared like a heartbeat, its cracked ceiling, its glow blazing, the web of light stretching out from it, racing through the earth, connecting with distant points. The beasts shrieked, one by one dissolving into dust. Their screams fading, the ground shaking as their bodies vanished. The giant roar from above echoed, distant but furious. The master of the shadows had felt the awakening. Aaron fell to the ground, his chest heaving, his body trembling, the bracelet dimming to a soft glow. The spiral mark on his palm fading to a steady golden ember. The animal limped toward him, its side torn, its silver glow weak, but it's golden. Eyes still bright, it pressed its head against his shoulder. Warm and steady, Aaron wrapped his arms around it, sobbing, whispering, "We did it, we saved it," his voice shaking. The node pulsed, golden light filling the chamber like dawn. "A voice whispered in his mind, calm and endless. One heart saved, many remain, the web is broken still. But you have awakened the path." Aaron lifted his head, his tears drying on his cheeks. He looked at the animal, at the glowing sphere, his voice soft but certain. "This is only the beginning." The tunnel behind them rumbled, dust falling. The red glow of the shadows fading, but not gone, never gone. Aaron stood, his legs weak but steady, the bracelet warm on his wrist, the spiral burning faint in his palm. The animal at his side, he looked once more at the node, its golden light pulsing, its voice silent now, but its presence strong. He whispered, "I will not stop. I will wake them all." Above, thunder rolled across the ridge, the storm of shadows gathering. The war had only started, but Aaron was no longer just a boy. He was chosen, and the world would never be the same.